Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? Let me hit this button. I hit that button, and we are off to the races. So, welcome, everyone. Let me just speak favor over us all for sure. And as I continue to get the delay, sorry, it's just me. I can hear it. That's okay. It is a second look, and we just thank you for being here. Your energy is the most valuable thing that you possess, and when you expend it, it's something to be appreciated. So thank y'all. The Soul Tribe, y'all know who you are. Hello, everyone in the chat room and everyone listening. So thank you, moderators. I think I got all that out. Nothing missing, nothing broken be in our lives. Happy birthday if you got one, and live each day as the best day. So, as you can see, I have my beautiful co-host, Miss Trina Phoenix, and we are joined by a very delightful, wonderful, I don't know, Judith, I could say light worker, beautiful soul. Judith Kwoba, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing as good as it can be in this open air asylum.
It is so true because the inmates are running the asylum and they ain't us. That's all I got to say. So, thank you for joining me. And Trina, how are you, my dear? So good to see you.
I'm wonderful. It's been a beautiful week, a family full of birthdays. I got three sisters. All of them are Aries.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, grandma used to be on the 21st. So it's a great month full of family and fun, and the weather's still beautiful. So it's been a really good week.
Yeah, the weather has just been here. Judith, what's in Germany? What is it like?
It's spring. The trees are turning green again. The first blossoms are here. And yeah, that is quite nice, I have to say. But other than that, it's, as I told you before we started recording, it's batshit crazy here. And I have to say, as a German, I feel deeply ashamed of my government. But not only that, also my fellow men give me really a hard time because it appears that everybody is going along and they are going to be led like sheep into the slaughterhouse. But I have the feeling that people do not really grasp the magnitude of what is going on. I give you one example. Starting with next year, our government will no longer allow you to have a gas heating or an oil heating in your house.
Oh boy.
And that does not mean if you have it now that you have to rip it out immediately. There is time to do that, but within the next 20 to 30 years, all of that has to change. But if you build new, or let's say your oil heating is broken, you cannot replace it. You do not have the permission to do that.
What's the alternative? Electricity?
Heat pumps, which is very inefficient. You also need to have a heating in the floor. Yeah. And that means you have to remodel everything. And but the thing is, we do not have enough electricity.
Bingo.
And so now on Saturday, they will switch off the last 3 nuclear plants here. And
but isn't that where you generate electricity from? Okay, I'm completely lost.
And at the same time, it gets better. Here comes the cherry on the cake.
It's better. Okay.
The cherry on the cake is that the EU right now is preparing something to forbid heat pumps in all of Europe, because of the gases that they release. So then what? We are no longer allowed to heat our houses, or what's going on here? And that is something, that goes along with a plan. You have to renovate and do all those things to your houses. And if you do not do that, the long-term plan is then the EU will declare these houses uninhabitable.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is insane.
I can't
Yeah.
believe that people are okay with this.
I mean, this
think
is
it amazes
insane.
me.
Yeah, and that is why I say I
They're
feel
trying to do that here, but the
They're gonna
American
push
public
back.
is saying, screw you. We're not,
Absolutely.
they're just that is insane. So where do you get your electricity from?
Yeah, now they probably think that okay, they have reactivated a lot of coal plants. Yeah, because yeah, evil Russia, of course, you cannot buy gas there. They bought a lot of LNG, and the entire price tag up to now for the EU has been 700 billion, yeah, to keep the lights on since the sanctions against Russia.
Wow.
Yeah, that the US demanded, yeah, that the EU does that.
So I'm sitting here going, okay, so these are intelligent people, and
No.
yeah, I mean, and you've got to think, is it? Wait a minute, this is not being thought out, and again,
No.
it's leading to something very, very bad.
Or very, very good, because then we'll get away from their energy systems altogether. Energy's free.
Well, you and I know that, and maybe, but the rest of the world, I mean, people
They'll
start
figure it out
becoming,
when they don't have any. They'll
yeah,
figure
they
it out.
become savages. I mean, if let's
Yeah.
say, for instance, we go into, in the 80s, the scientists and the climatologists were indoctrinating us that it was going to be freezing. It wasn't global warming we had to be concerned about. It was global cooling, because they said by the year 2000 that, the oceans would begin to freeze. Well, now we're into the global warming. And these are the same yahoos that told us 20 years ago that we would be walking on water, ice.
Yeah, and then we had the acid rain, then we had the ozone layer depleted. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've now found out that their science behind the ozone was completely wrong, but you never hear them talk about this. So if Europe gets into a cold spell, which you're known to do, I mean, and I'm thinking, 5-10 years down the road, I mean, what are you going to have us? Are we going to be like, it's frightening to think that there's an agenda behind this. And I tell you, it can't be to our favor.
Yeah. No, it is not. Definitely. And yeah, I guess there are elements in the United States that think, okay, we eliminate the EU as a competitor, economic competitor, and yeah, then that they somehow profit from that. But at the same time, I also see, almost similar crazy ideas being, thought out in the US.
We're about to have a tsunami here in the US, and it's probably coming much quicker than most people would even dare to think or hope that happens. We are in the midst right now of the complete dismantlement and decline of the US greenback. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
become an island. One of our major economic partners said bye-bye. They're going with the Russian ruble. And it's about to hit here in the United States, and it's not going to be pretty. It's just
Did
not.
you hear the what the Saudi crown prince said? That was a very bold statement. He said Saudi Arabia is no longer interested in the favor of the United States.
Yeah.
Apparently, we've got 19 countries now that no longer will accept our dollar as reserves.
No, our dollar is worthless. There's nothing backing it up. It's interesting, because and I asked this in my opening comments in the chat room, is for the last 3 nights, not last night, but prior to that, I found it very difficult to sleep. In fact, I got very little sleep, and the sleep I got was intense with, well, they weren't good dreams. And one particularly was pretty concerning. But Judith, you said something that I thought was interesting, because Pluto is in what, Aquarius right now?
Aquarius right now.
Okay.
Yeah. It entered on the 23rd of March. It will stay there until 11th of June. And then it will make a second entry on the 21st of January next year. It will stay until 1st of September, and then it will finally settle in November, 19th of November 2024. It will settle there. And the last time that happened, we had the American Revolution, we had the French Revolution, and I mean, that is a big thing. It ended the monarchy. Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, the X will now be put on the United States. The first X part of that was September 2017. We're about to have the completion of the X, meaning we're in the bullseye of the total eclipse path in April of next year. We're already got plans. We're fortunately, where I live, we're only an hour away, and we're in total totality. But this is a very bad omen, because as I understand that when Pluto, the beginning of the year, was it in Capricorn?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And that only adds to that. Every time that has happened, again, it signifies worldwide upheaval, is my layman's kind of interpretation of that.
Yeah, but it will be, we have seen Capricorn has to do with authority, the earthly things. Yeah. And what did we see during that time? And plus the Saturn influence, streamlining, surveilling, and disciplining at every corner. Yeah, that was the perfect time to do it. And but now that is a good thing. Pluto is in Pisces. It cannot fully function there. That does not mean that Saturn will not try to lay down rules. Saturn remains Saturn. And what I expect on that front is that the subject of water will come to the forefront. And that can mean floods, that can mean droughts, that can mean contaminated water, that can mean fights over water rights. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the subject of water will come to the forefront during the next 3 years.
Can I ask, and this is off topic, but it's into the same lane. Here in the United States, we now know 172, I believe is the current count, food processing plants have either been burned down, exploded, etc. Most of them have all been burned down. So what is the same thing happening over in Europe?
Mm-mm.
No, isn't that interesting? Because it's very interesting. We're being set up for something. I mean,
No, we shoot ourselves in the foot in different ways.
well, us Americans, we're so we shoot both feet. That's just what it is. Well, I want to throw this in, ladies, because something is happening to our species, and I'll just throw this out. I had a vision over the weekend, and I was telling y'all about it. And it was so disturbing that's why I didn't do a show yesterday. It really, it put me into, it was just a weird energy. But this is what I got out of the vision, and and it's well documented. I've documented every one of these visits. I hadn't had a visit from these three witnesses, whoever they are. It's the same three beings, but they showed up again of all time Saturday night, and it was just. And I'll tell the audience here because y'all already heard it, but I'll just throw it out there. I was standing on this forestry fire lookout. If any of you've lived in forests or in the mountains, you know that's anyway. I was standing there, and these 3 plus 1 were right next behind me, and it was strange because when I looked to the east, I saw this tornado, but the tornado was not spinning the way that it's supposed to spin. It was spinning in reverse. And there was this, the clouds were not black. I mean, they were coalescing is what it looked like. I mean, it's really weird. And then they were doing this thing. And then this one witness, whatever the hell he is, and it is male, said, well, turn and look to the south. And what I saw from the south, it was like this carpet, but the carpet was undulating. It was alive and it was rushing in. And when I looked to the west, all I saw was water. And then I started to look to the north, and this other being in the center, he said, look up to the north. Not look north, but look up to the north. And when I looked up, I didn't see anything coming down, but what I saw was coming up from the earth. And there was this, I woke up sweating. There is something that's here. It's not coming. It's happening now. Mm-hmm. It's happening to all of us. The whole world, there's no one that's going to be inoculated or exempt from this. But and I'll talk more about what the other being was saying to me, but it's very clear to me. And again, like I said, I finally got some rest last night, but has anyone else experienced that? Problem sleeping?
No, I didn't have that. But since you mentioned the financial system and the situation with the dollar, Pluto in Aquarius also means, that is an energy that is very hard hitting. It is incredibly fast. In that sense, it is good that it comes in increments and not all at the same time.
Like birth pangs,
Yeah. And so it will tear down anything that is outdated. Yeah. And that energy is not negotiable. No way around that. And my feeling is one of the first systems that might go down is the financial system.
Yeah.
And other systems will follow. Our school system is rotten. We all know it. Yeah, the medical system is oblivious and the what have you. But, and here's my question. I thought about this for the last couple of days. And, when the financial system is going down, that is hardship, of course, but it also means opportunity, to build a better system, because the one that we had didn't serve us at all. It enslaved us. and it's only served a few, yeah, the little club, and you ain't in it. So
Yeah.
here's my question. Do you think we are ready for that freedom? I mean, society at large, and to build a better system, or will people fold? And then I guess at that point, when the collapse is really in full swing, they will come around the corner, offer the UBI and the CBDCs. So do you think we can handle that type of freedom once the oppressive systems are gone? Or will we just fold? Because honestly, when I look back at the last 3 years, 80% of the population here, they just, they threw their rights away just like that because of a micro. Yeah. So what do you expect? Are we
I
ready?
expect that there will, I know, I was in the payment industry for a very long time. I know it intimately. And I was at an event at Harvard, and the Federal Reserve people were there, and we were working on a scenario of just what you said. There will be a shock to the system. The currency will collapse. And what they wanted from us was, we were divided into 3 teams, and each team had to bring forth a scenario of what was the effect, what was the aftermath, and then how do you overcome it? Because people in the modern day, because of the way our distribution system is, there has to be some form of currency. That's how we barter. That's how we work. It was very clear that in all 3 scenarios, we saw the National Guard being activated, because there will literally be this initial wave of fear. As it works its way through the system, people have different ways of reacting when they realize that their dollar is no longer worth anything, and you're going to be forced into a system that is authoritarian from the very design of it. And that's here in the United States. We're going to be moving to the Fed digital dollar. Now, the discussion with the Fed right now is, I get the insight into this, is because of Russia and China backing their digital currency with gold, the United States is now in a pickle, because anything that we do on the digital aspect of it will have to have something backing it up other than the good name of the United States. My point is, to your question, Judith, I see for us a very difficult conversion. I think eventually people will accept it. You're always going to have those that fringe, but yeah, that's my opinion. What do you think, Trina?
I think if they accept it, it's going to be the end of everything. But I see a bifurcation of humanity. I see different people going to different timelines, and that means that they will die in this timeline, or whichever one you end up in, other people are going to be gone from your timeline. That's the way I see it. I saw us getting thrown into a washing machine, like a spin cycle, and everybody going into 12 new positions. We already know we've quantumly jumped with the Mandela effect. The evidence is now we potentially are jumping realities. So I see a multitude of potentials. I do see many that are going to full on give up everything and go down that path. I see others that are going to go through a hard transition with a lot of losses and rebuild back for the power of the people. When we look at the X marks the spot with the eclipse, instantly in my mind, what I could see was the opposition of that is ruin, Gaba. And that means seven. Seven is creation. Like she said, revolutionary wartime, all of these things. These are opportunities to create anew. We've seen these great resets now in history before, like people are looking into the Tartaria stuff. It's the same thing. They did the, you know, the shooter dues, and they did the collapsing of the energy systems. They got rid of all the free energy so they could charge for electricity. It's the same game, but I think people are starting to now have an awareness of it. And when we realize that they aren't what does any of this, it's the people that do it all. We run the power plants, we build the power plants, they don't. We run everything, we do everything. So ultimately the power is in the people. And when the people start to realize that, when their so-called leaders have utterly gone crazy and given all of their freedoms away, I do think there's going to be an extreme pushback, at least in my reality. So I know that's the potential I will land on.
Well, I think we have to look at history, though, how we as a species have reacted to this. And
And I also just, you know, the French Revolution, yeah, it's all good and fine. But what followed next was the terror reign of Robespierre. So meaning, yes, we will get through this cosmic event, we will get a lot of great opportunities, energies that support it. But without our brains and with intelligent decisions, you know, that energy can go in the opposite direction.
yeah, because I'll
every
throw
energy has an up and a down, a dark and a light side.
And I'll throw this into
Wayne,
the equation. Yes, Trina.
what if you created a new payment system? Because, you know, when you look at our current fiat system, fiat, everybody says, is based on nothing. In all actuality, it is based on something. We are securities being traded in the stock market. So basically, each one of us has had a set predetermined value on us. So what if we created a new payment system based on the value of the human being? Because money is just, it's a thought concept. It's not even real. It's just an exchange for trade, goods, and services. It's not even real. It's a thought. It's a concept. So if we put value on our humans, as which has already been done, we're traded. So it's already been done. That's how fiat works. So what if we create a payment system that puts value on we the people?
Bill Gates owns such a system that Microsoft, they've already got the patent on how to make the human body basically where you'll be trading through your body.
And that's because the basis, he started all that with the GMOs.
Yeah.
And
so you're basically,
yeah.
guess you could put the value on what your genetic code is. Think about that. But I want to throw something else in. So let's take the cosmic, the earth and what's happening to the earth right now. Our sun is going through transition. This galactic wave, they're calling, I believe it's called the Parker galactic wave. We are now in the midst of it. We entered into this wave. It's estimated that the Carrington event was kind of the entree into this wave. We're now dead almost into the middle. And that our magnetic fields are collapsing. And we have this effect of humans that affects our brains, and that is cosmic rays. When the cosmic rays hit the earth, they become particles. These particles, we know what happens to humans. They lose cognitive ability of correct decision making. So my question is, all of this is fine and well, but what if we are, in fact, right now seeing the results, the early results of a species-wide collapse where we literally become the purge night?
That's a potential reality.
I mean, I live with the city to the east of me, which is St. Louis. They have people now executing people on the street. Now, come on, you know, and it's not just here. It's everywhere. And I sometimes feel like I'm the canary in the mine field, in the cave. It's like, hey, folks, something's going on here. And if we don't address this, all of our other thoughts of a new, brighter tomorrow, a glorious new day, is going to be built upon the spilled blood of billions of human beings. Are we ready for that?
According to the Deagle, we probably should be ready.
And I can't say this
That's a lot
because of the policy on this platform, but folks, it's already, something is happening. I mean, we're seeing, according to the actuaries, and these are the life insurance companies. We know this because we're in the process of getting such insurance, and folks, they know something's going on, and it's affecting. So I guess what I'm trying to say here, what is our solution for that? How do we protect ourselves from something that's invading the very atmosphere of which we're stuck on this planet?
What do you mean exactly, stuck on this planet?
Well, I don't have a spaceship to get off the planet.
Okay.
And I don't have a deep bunker that, like Bezos, that's, 2 miles down into the earth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're kind of going to be where we're supposed to be to experience what you signed up to experience through this transition. And everybody's going to experience different parts of it because that's the only way it's experienced as fullness.
I do not want to belittle that, what you just said, Wayne. And we have the craziness here in Germany as well. The newest trend here is that 10 and 11-year-olds are now attacking with knives and torturing 9-year-olds, in groups. That seems to be the newest thing that is going on here. And but when I feel into that, what you just described, I have no fear. There's nothing that tells me this is scary. I'm not saying it will be.
I didn't say being afraid of it, being aware of it. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there I have to side with Trina. I guess, I felt it in my life so many times that something that I cannot really explain guided me. And even events that at first glance looked very, very horrible, turned out to be a blessing.
Okay, I don't have a problem with. How do we explain what's going on then?
It is what's going on. It is a cycle. We're ending a cycle, and those are never pretty. So we are ending a massive cycle, and we're beginning a new one. And a lot of how that goes is going to be with what we think and what we do. So, if so many people will be going down the follow the leader slide. They always do, but there's always a percentage that don't. So, and that's what I think the bifurcation is going to be. People will end up in different places when this is all said and done. You will be in different realities of your own making.
So I equate that as death. You're talking, and that's the thing you see, I guess that's what bothers me, because I love the species. I love my species. And we've been down this road before. And, no matter what anyone tries to tell me about this brighter day, we've been here before. And that brighter day has always eluded us. Our species.
What if at the end of cycles, Wayne, after, like I said, your vibration dictates what you get magnetized to. That's what I see. So what if at the end of these massive great cycles, there literally is a bifurcation of the souls, and some souls evolve into a higher realm of consciousness while others remain in the third dimension under the slave systems and the programs that they're used to running. But people that have higher consciousness and understand these systems, your consciousness isn't going to stick in this.
No, I
It's
get
not,
that.
it's not going to.
It's, I guess my point is that no matter how we slice it and dice this, it still represents a loss of life to our species.
Yes.
And my whole point to this is that if this is an ending of a cycle and the beginning of new cycle, then my mind begins to deduce from that statement that it's very evident that we have been here before. And there's evidence of archaeologists that we know we have had other places where our civilizations have been at such high peaks and then they all collapse. Now, I guess it's good for, I don't know, because, let's take the cataclysm theory. Our sun is going to nova. We know this. We can see it. We're measuring it. So, theory is, if it depends on how you look at it, that probably within the next 50 years, there's going to be some sort of a solar event. Our sun is going to either micronova. Any way you look at it, it's going to be a very bad day for Earth.
Yeah.
So, what I see in these resets is that we go back to zero. And that's my frustrating part. Yeah, maybe in the midst of an event like this, that there are those souls who will advance, bifurcate as you use. But then again, I weep in my soul because there's too many innocent souls being sacrificed for that. We're
But
better
what
than
if
this.
that- But what if that science turns out to be wrong as well?
I
You
hope
know,
it is,
that the
Judith,
sun
that
will go.
is. But I see, is like you were saying, you got 9 and 10-year-olds now finding murder to be acceptable. We saw something over the weekend, and it was just very evident that there is a part of us in our society. We have people who no longer value life. That's a
Yes,
scary situation,
I
when
don't
you,
think they have a soul anymore connection, Wayne. I think this technology and these energies they're very, very hard to stay connected to your inner soul, because
Yeah.
the outside world is literally trying to stop it with all aspects, with our food, our water, our air. It's across the whole entire spectrum.
Which makes
So
me think that this is not being orchestrated by something human.
no, I think you're
No,
absolutely
no,
right.
definitely
You are
not.
absolutely
Yeah.
right.
That's what
Absolutely
I'm
right.
feeling. And that I think for these last 3 nights that
Yeah.
it's here and it's ramping up. It knows us.
Yeah.
It knows what I mean, us, those of us who are on this frequency. Those
Yeah.
of you watching this know this is it knows who and what we are.
Yes.
And that what is
Intimately.
happening here with the children right now, honestly, when I think about what we have been mentally and spiritually feeding to children, I'm not really surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sooner or later, that comes to fruition, or that garbage and nonsense that we have been feeding kids.
Do
Yeah.
you think that we're in this as a species? It's interesting because technology is the new God, and we're all subservient to it. But there's many of us who we see, yeah, we use it, but we're not, can I say, essentially part of it. We don't promote it. I mean, I don't have a streaming service. To me, it's like I got more things to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that
I don't even have
bifurcation?
a cell phone.
Yes.
I don't
Wayne.
have a TV. I don't have a cell phone.
Yeah. See, we've all done it already. We have disconnected. We are connected because it's the world we live in, but we understand what it is and we understand what its power is. So we're like, we want to work with you and be friends with you, but we don't want to connect with you because we want to stay connected to our original software. And that's what this is. It's a software program. Deep.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you personally, meeting strangers and you find you have nothing in common.
It's like you're on a different planet. That's the bifurcation.
And you just keep your mouth shut to be polite.
Yes.
Because if you open it, you're going to start something that, yeah, I mean, that's how it's gotten for us. I mean, it's just like, yeah. Really?
I totally relate to that. And it's so hard because, like I said, that's why I have literally told you guys, you are my saving grace. You literally, this group, to know that you can have these conversations and share this consciousness and not get just completely thrown out. It's just, you guys is such a gift to me. I mean that from the biggest part of my soul.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you for existing. Oh my gosh, what would I do without you?
And we're so extended. I mean, Judith, you're part of this group. I mean, we have so many in different cultures, different, how they live at different parts of governments and what have you. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, is this how it really happens? Is this how it's going to be like, and then there's going to be a number of us who aren't going to be here anymore? I mean, do we go through another time warp and end up in another Mandela effect? I mean, it's time is undulating now. It's very odd.
And it's incredibly speeding up. Do you have that impression as well? And this is not only, yeah, I get it. As a child, it was always like forever until the summer holidays are there. That is not what I'm talking about. I don't know. I have the impression I literally can feel a quickening.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
That, in fact, that helps me. I mean, I got to tell you, I was really bothered. I mean, I have disturbed sleeps once in a while, but 3 nights of the same intensity. Wow.
Yeah. Wayne, it's I keep hearing, it's like that dream, to me, it's like, my own interpretation is just, this is exactly what I've been sensing. It's like these solar flashes and all of these cataclysmic changes. It's releasing new energy from the inside of the earth out, just like we do, from the inside out. And you saw it coming up from the earth. It's amazing. We're going to go through an elemental transition, and it's gonna handle in ways most bodies can handle it. But you see a lot of people just mysteriously passing. I think a lot of this is the bifurcation and the energies, because the energies, they will dictate what you can physically exist within. I really do see this. And I think your dream is a strong representation. There are changes coming. You better get right with your soul. You better get right with your frequency. Figure out what you believe, where you're going to go, because you will experience what you feel more than what you think. So it's like all this doom and gloom. It's really hard to stay disattached to it, but we have to disconnect. We have to. It's a matter of life or death, I think, for real.
We're swimming in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I can't get this crap off of me.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
So, Judith, what do you see happening in your part of the world? I mean, when you was just telling me about, removing the essentials aspect, by the way, are you allowed to have air conditioning?
Actually, here, I'm not saying there is no air conditioning here in Germany, but as for private houses, it's very, very rare that houses have air conditioning.
Could you imagine, Trina, your house not having AC?
Yeah, no way. We would die. But like, we can't physically survive through that. So yeah, if they take the power out in the summer here, we lose a lot of our elderly. It happens in one night.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Because it's so much a part of here is that when you look at a house, what's the heating system, air conditioning. Yeah, and did you answer, how does Germany generate electricity other than through coal, which I thought was counterintuitive of what the green energy movement is about.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm just confused here. It's
Do you
like,
see the way
No,
I'm
no.
seeing this? They're changing all the power again so they can get control of the power systems again.
Yeah.
So this would be the most brilliant thing, is if people took this stuff back under their own control and literally, I mean, they've always monetized us, and they've taken our monetization funds. So they monetize your body and they take the funds. What if we all got smart enough and figured out that we are the world and we all monetize and globally share our monetization with one another, and we don't need them anymore?
well, you have to have a means in which the distribution can be how possible. And then, of course, it's the credit in, credit out. I mean, how do you reconcile that? I mean, during the Depression here in the United States, and I guess for Germany, you were in the midst of about to enter into World War II, which was crazy. But we're experiencing what the Germans experienced at the end of the 20th century in 1930. I mean, our money is about to be in wheelbarrows, and you're going to take that to the store to get a loaf of bread.
The euro as well.
Yeah.
It might come 2 weeks later, but it
Yeah,
will go
we're
down the same road.
we're
So I
intimately
have,
connected, correct? Those currencies are intimately connected. So if one falls, it affects the other.
Pretty much. I mean, the greenback
I didn't
goes.
understand that. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
can someone explain that to
Ballot
me?
Brand is in the chat room. Ballot knows, and Brand, he's Brandon. It's a beautiful soul. He knows probably is, and it's because he's a remarkable young man, that the whole infrastructure of digital currency. And us who are in the industry, we've known that this is where it's going. I mean, we've known it. The question is, are they going to be beginning the chipping of people? That's what I think will be the game changer, not the
no,
collapse.
the moment the people accept CBDCs, the door is shut.
Yeah, because
so too.
we know how to do it now. You know how you do it? You'll do it at the store. As you go into your grocery store or your bank, they will literally be set up for, boom, and most likely it's going to be on the forehand, but it's not the chipping. It's actually a laser tattoo. Painless, you put your hand underneath the light, and about 15 seconds, you pull it out. Guess what?
You're marked.
You're marked.
No funds. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You can't shop here today.
And that's the thing too. For me, in my rational mind, I'm like, okay, if the money's worth nothing and they're going to give me a new digital currency that has nothing about no value behind it, why would I entertain that? It doesn't even make sense to me.
Because you ain't going to eat.
I have food and I can grow food.
You heard what our president's latest executive order is, right?
Uh-huh. Get rid of all the food.
Well, it's the fact that they can now, under a certain agency, come to your door and literally take you out of your house, and it will now become property of the federal government.
Mm-hmm. They do that at wartime all the time. Yeah.
So, it's like, okay. Wayne, have you had the same type of dreams the last few days? Very real, felt even now, very real. Yeah, I'll tell you, Robert Scott, it jacked with my whole inner being. It threw me off balance. In one of these dreams, it was weird because I was with a group of people, but I wasn't chosen. And I remember I began to feel really bad that I didn't get chosen. And I knew one of the people that had, and so I'm walking behind these doors, and I opened up this door. It was like almost like a closet, but they were wearing something around their chest. And it was weird. All of them were. Anyway, that's just bizarre. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Maybe it was a good thing that you weren't chosen.
I've always been kind of a rebel, you know. It's
Right.
like, we don't want your kind in here. You know, it's like, well, okay.
Thank goodness, right?
I come take myself, you know, I'll go out with
Uh-huh.
all the rest of them out there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Judith, what do you see? Because it's just like you were saying, time. Lynn and I were talking, and I said, honey, where did February go?
I mean,
I mean,
3 months are already gone. And
Yeah.
actually, we just had New Year's Eve.
Right.
yeah. I mean, I'm going, wait a minute. It's going to be Friday again. And the days are just, I don't know. I mean, is this the process? Is this something that we experience as we age? We know that the planet, literally the planet, is, you know, slowing down, which causes our days to go faster. I mean,
Yeah.
it's weird that we're talking about this, because as the planet slows and it's this huge mass, there's a corresponding dilation of time. That just jacks with my head right there. It's like,
That's biblical too, that days would speed up or whatever. Isn't that biblical too?
yeah, it's in
I
the book
wonder
of,
if this is part of like what happens at the end of cycles. It's like everything has to start really moving and spinning so things can start to reassemble and change a little bit. So I do see a massive
depending on
change.
how your theology is, in the book of Joshua, we actually read of that event of where the earth stopped.
Wow.
And we, now it was attributed to Yahweh that allowed the children of Israel to destroy its enemies. But it's interesting because the Chinese wrote about it. They said it was the longest night. The Incas wrote about it. They called it the everlasting day. So something happened. In the book of Joel, it says, in the last days, your young men shall have dreams and your old men shall have visions.
Visions, yeah.
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 Did I have a vision the other night? If there isn't, that's about damn close of one I would define, you know, whatever. It could be just my
Right.
imagination, as Smokey Robinson says. It's just my imagination. But anyway, all right, got to lighten the mood here, folks,
Yeah.
because it's
You know,
weird. I mean, we're in it, and you know, and
we
it's
are
like,
in it.
you know, we're on the deep end of the pool, but they're peeing in the other end of the pool. We know that it's eventually going to get near us, you know.
You know, it's so weird where you were talking about dreams. And remember, I told you I had a dream. I was in dark light and it was
Yeah.
glowing, and I was traveling on like these streams of consciousness, and I was moving fast. I've never ever experienced that before. Actively lucid in a dark light system, and it glows. It's all luminescence. Everything glows. And it was the most beautiful turquoise and aqua and purples, and everything's kind of neon because it's glowing.
Mm.
It was so profound. But then I think about, okay, what is the dark light? The dark light is the womb. It's the field of all potential. That's what that is. So when I'm looking at, okay, so I literally finally dove into the dark light. I was like, okay, I'm in the field of potential now. And okay, what am I going to create with that field of potential? And then, you know, we have the X marks the spot coming up. You know, we're going to have different polarities of these. Whatever is manifesting is going to have a dark expression, and it's going to have a positive expression, because we are in a realm of polarity. There's no getting out of that. So when we look at the X marks the spot, you know, X marks the spot is also where you go to on the treasure map to find your treasures. So X marks the spot means destruction. It's the target zone. So it's got both aspects of it. It's literally working on both. And when we look at Gibo, the 7, and this is such a big symbol. You keep seeing it in logos in football games. I mean, they're flashing it a lot for a reason. Just like the same thing with all the upside down land light stuff. But this ruin literally means a gift. Through nature, it's ambiguous. It is unclear whether it refers to the sacrifice of humanity to the gods or the bounty of the gods to man. It is often translated to mean generosity. Gebo is often associated with Odin or Freya as the gift rune. Gebo is concerned with mutual and unselfish giving. It represents the ability to sacrifice without expecting anything in return. Gebo also symbolizes the connection between the gods and men. It is the gift that brings the connections through the exchange, and it signifies the unity and the honor created when this exchange takes place. Wayne, we're finally communicating to the spirits, like a lot of humanity is. This could be a merging of God consciousness with man consciousness too, and a lot of gifts being poured forth upon the planet for the first time in thousands and thousands of years.
True.
So I really, I'm shooting for that. I'm focusing on that because anything I can add to it will give it more power. So I hope y'all can jump on that happy bus and let's just envision a good ride to counteract some of the dark visions that are being projected in
I
our
like with
reality.
Dave Sullivan. That's why I was laughing. He says he's going to try to survive the nude swimming pool.
Oh boy.
Dave, I mean, you're reading and it's intense, but I read that and I just started laughing because I did get this image, of like, well, come on, get in the pool. But anyway.
You know where I really have a problem is when you read that here, a sacrifice. Honestly, guys, anything and everything that requires a blood, especially a blood sacrifice, be it animal or human, I despise that. Yeah, there is something deeply disturbed and wrong with it. And that is why I always say, and I know a lot of people will freak out now, but so be it. I always say, fuck all the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I've had more than a few conversations like that. I mean, I've gone around my house going, fuck you, you coward,
are all matrix. They're all artificial. They're all matrix. They're not real. So yeah, you would be really wise to not buy that bullshit. But I do believe that there's the real above this place, because this place is images. This place is mirrors. This place is reflection. There is nothing authentic here, not even me.
Yeah. And we are in the season of sacrifice right now.
Boy, aren't we though?
Yes.
Well, we just celebrated the big one yesterday, or day before. And that, if there's one regret I have about being in the cult, and by the way, folks, Christianity is a pagan religion. People don't like to think that. It's not the religion, it's a pagan religion, and it's a bloody one at that. The deepest regret I have was ever taking that, being a part of this blood cult called communion. And wow, I mean, it still bothers me because, how freaking gullible was I? And Judith, when you mentioned that, it's a horror to me that we as a species seem to gyrate around a supposed ultimate consciousness that uses blood as a means of sealing covenants.
Yeah. And that is how
it's our blood.
The spirits.
Yes.
And Jesus never was a Christian. So stop writing me, know?
Nope.
I mean, nope.
People write you?
Are you kidding me? I am either the Antichrist incarnate or, I am a Luciferian, a Satanist. Sometimes they get really interesting, It's like, wow, I didn't know I had such a position. It's like, but yes. Yeah.
Thanks for all the title throwing.
I mean, geez, Yep. I'm like the rat. Forget the cheese. Just get me out of the trap.
Correct. Yeah. The rat.
Ladies, this has been like one of the freaking fastest hours I've ever seen. I mean, poof, and wow. Judith, got to have you back on, dear. I mean, this is wow. I mean, seriously, I'm trying to remember everything that we've been talking about, and it's like a flash, you
Yeah,
know,
it's fast.
it's like, hello.
Mhm.
So Judith, tell us about, I've left your link down there in your YouTube channel. So tell us what you see coming down and where people can also engage with you as well.
Yeah, you can engage with me via my
I like
YouTube
that.
channel, of course. And if you like, you can become a patron. And I also write there once in a while to different topics, mostly occult topics, explaining some things. And yeah, and what is coming down? No, do you mean in terms of interviews?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will have no, his name is no Troy McLaughlin. I will have him on Friday, but it will take a while until that is released, and we will talk about de-dollarization, and we will do a deep dive into that subject, and yeah, and then. Another video will come out shortly where I talk with Dr. Judd Burton about demonology.
Oh, excellent. We're going to have our show tomorrow. I'd love to maybe get y'all on the group on Wednesdays. We're doing the demonology series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had Gary Wayne on again, and that interview will be about secret societies in general, the ancient roots of that. And then later on, we take a deeper look at the Rosicrucians.
Wow.
In
That's
sync lane.
yeah,
Wow. We're like, wow, that's a
that's a
lot.
banquet, man. I mean, it's like,
Yes.
yeah, I'll take part of that. Well, good. And I'm going to have you back on, Judith. We got to get you. We could have gone for another hour easily.
Mm.
So if you'd like to come back on, let us know. And
Yeah, sure.
okay.
If you answer to my emails, I will.
Folks,
We've got a
and
lot of
it is,
emails, Judith.
but
It's
I
bad.
have found there's about a half dozen or so people that it got into my spam, and I didn't do it. Google does it, and I don't get it.
Ah,
You know?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
That's
once
where
in a while that happens to me as well. But then I take that email and I reposition it into inbox,
I've
and then
done that.
usually it's okay from there, from then. Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I'm good. I'm
Good to
guilty
know.
of
I
that.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Right,
Thanks,
Trina.
Judith.
She'll
Yeah, I'm like,
respond too.
thanks, Judith. That's good to know.
Okay, yeah, I'm guilty of that. It's like okay, it happened.
Yeah.
Everyone, well, thank you, Judith. It's been so wonderful. We're going to have you back on. Trina, it's all right. Rocket, sail down. It's time for him to go out.
Yeah.
Trina, I'll see you next Tuesday, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much
Okay.
love. I can't
Much love
wait.
to you as well.
Roller
And to you,
coaster
Judith.
ride we're on. We just got to strap in and say, wee.
Gotta buckle up, folks.
Right.
And anyway, and tomorrow I'll be on with JD Temple 444 and Miss Nina the Mystic and Rurik. And yeah, demonology. By the way, it's everywhere. I'm seeing more and more channels doing demonology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. As the Cowboys would say, never goodbye. We'll just see you down the road a little bit. So happy trails until then.